Hello, hello, D&Ders, RPGers, Game Masters, Dungeon Masters, and the like. Today I'm going to talk about using Zoom to do a D&D game online. I've used Roll20. I actually showed several things, especially playing solo D&D using Roll20, and I've done it with my groups. Last night we did something else. We used Zoom, and it was quite awesome. It was a different kind of play. It was a different kind of feel to it. I can honestly say that as a group, they kind of felt like it had a better flow to it, and I'll explain why as we kind of go through it. A couple things I got to do is show you some stuff I used for playing and explain the context of how I did it. So to kind of show you this, I'm going to have to take off my virtual reality that I'm sitting in, all right? And I'm going to take out my background. I'm going to make it boring, right? But first of all, I have something called a Huon tablet. I bought this because I'm a teacher. I teach physics and chemistry. It's a philosophy. I bought this for 150 bucks online on Amazon. It was essential for teaching because it's kind of hard to do math if you can't write out the problems. And it comes with the stylus, and I picked the one that doesn't require battery, okay? Second thing is I merged two different things. One of them is Swords and Wizardry, Frog Games, one of my favorite wings. I always feel like I'm promoting their stuff because I think it's just Smith binding. It's well put together. I like old school stuff. I've always been interested in Teagle Manor. They did an excellent job, and they had this big, like 40% off deal. I think it was 2 months ago or something like that. Bought this thing. It's a fascinating module. They come with these big colored maps and stuff. So I was wanting to do this, right? I have a hard time a little bit. Like I said, Rapanathuk was a game we played. They need purpose besides it's a dungeon crawl. We're just investigating. They like this overarching theme sort of what they're doing. So what I've done is I've actually taken this and I merged it with their favorite guy, Strahd Zurich. I took the Domains of Dread campaign, and this is an interesting book. It's second edition. I bought this on eBay, so it's not in print anymore. Or maybe you can get a print, man. I have no idea. They just give you, it's like a history lesson of certain things. There's not actually a module in here. So, but they have all these different, it's like mini maps of different regions and different things that are kind of cool. So I took this concept and stuck these together. Now, how I did that was I was thinking that this right here is a domain, and all these guys intersect. It's like the 5 families come together in this manner, and which they will essentially interact. So there's portals that you can go into doors and go to a different portal and come back. We haven't really fleshed that whole thing out yet because we're still exploring the town, but they started off at a different location, took a pirate ship, and ended up in the land of where Teagle Manor is, but they still think it's all in the Domain of Dread. Like I said, there's that flexibility when doing OSR. You can come up with different ways of doing things, okay? So once again, I'm trying to, like, how would you say, incorporate two different things together because my group really liked, how would you say, the Curse of Strahd, okay? And the reason why they liked Curse of Strahd was the character itself was amazing. Okay, he's such an archetype. And if you look at the top 10 modules, obviously Strahd being one of the strongest ones because it does have such an arch nemesis that people want to play it because of the sheer fact there's that enemy that's amazing. All right, so he's still part of it. We haven't gotten back there to start messing with him yet, but they messed with a guy called Alfred Timothy, who was a werewolf, and obviously he's actually in a fight with Strahd. Therefore, Alfred Timothy actually has put them on the payroll to go ahead and take care of some problems. Long story short, but it's a fun campaign. They're engaged in it. So, well, we found out that with Roll20, I guess I live on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and all of a sudden you get 5 people on it plugging around. You're trying to do dynamic lighting. It freezes up. Certain levels of character frustration. People are getting mad, and so I tried to find another way we could play it, and then the campaign, actually, we put on a hiatus for just a little while, and the reason why we did a hiatus was simply said because it was, how would you say, just losing fun, okay? So last night, I decided to try something totally new and original. I actually created something, and I'll show you this, and we're going to go in and out of concepts. a neat little thing. Okay, this was I wrote this and stuck it as a web page and put this together, and which I put sound effects like someone punches somebody, or let's say I want to roll a d20 and I was doing this. And I do all my rolls above the table for my group. I like to roll in front of them on a table. The dice are what the dice are. It's not me, it's you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sound like I'm singling anybody out. My wife plays. I don't want to sound like I'm showing favorites. I really am straightforward, very objective. Maybe it's the science part of me. So I did this, and my characters, I would you say my playing characters can't use it because I'm doing it on Zoom. So I put this up on Wii or MeWe or something like that, and somebody pointed me in a direction of a really cool thing called RollZ, right? So it was Rolls, I guess how you would say it. I created a room like this, and just join the room. You go into it, and it's so easy. It's just, it has the component that you like about Roll20, that you could easily roll stuff, slash, right? 1d20, and let's say you get a +3 on your roll, hit it, and it gives you your number here on the outside. Ooh, I rolled into 21. I'm awesome, right? So this is great. Everybody, you can see this is from the game last night. Dr. Constance Montgomery, Klaus Gertz, Miri Uriah, they're all rolling on this thing, all right? And this is cool because you could track the rolls and see what happened. So now I got the rolling part in there. Now, sometimes you could really, really trust your group, let everyone roll in a dice tray at home and they just report their numbers in. I still like to do this. I like my rolls there, and I just want to see how it would go. So it went really well. Now let's take it back into the idea of how would you play if you're not using Roll20. I mean, and you want to have your characters on a map, right? So this always poses another problem because you're doing one thing to something else. And what I did was, I'm going to go into Teagle Manor and kind of show you how this works. Teagle Manor, like I said, I create web pages. They're very, very simple. I bought this book called Teach Yourself HTML in 24 Hours. And I've been doing the same thing since the 90s on how to make web pages. Very, very straightforward, very, very easy and quick. I just want quick. I don't have to have flashy. And I'll show you what we went through, something called the Old Temple Ruins, right? Before I get there, I decided to make them a little cheat sheet on how you use the RollZ. Even though I show everyone how to use it before the game started, if I want to roll this, I roll this. Now people punch this up on their computer and they can have this on tabs on their screen, as well as watching me, or I can just flip over to it. If someone says, well, how do I roll that? I flip to it and explain. It's just hashtag 1d20+3. Or if you're going to do a roll under, it's 1d20. I put down hashtag strength of 14. It will tell you you rolled an 8 and your strength is 14, so therefore it's an under roll. So that's an OSR thing. If you're interested in that, I have videos on those things too as well. But the idea behind it, once again, is that I'm just trying something new. And like I said, my characters, or my playing characters, like it fast, like it intuitive, don't like it to be cumbersome. So then you're like, okay, character sheets. Now we made all these character sheets on Roll20. What can we do with them? I went ahead and took their character sheets, okay? And to kind of show you how this looks, I did screenshots, made images, and I have my characters right here. Like this is Constance Montgomery. I took the screenshots of their sheets. And basically what's cool about this is, as we're playing the game, if someone says, well, I want to use my shotgun. So I go down, okay, Uriah is using a shotgun. I scroll down. Let's see what your shotgun does. Okay, shotgun is 1d20+3. So that's what you hashtag 1d20+3. I can help them, coach them to the point that they know where their stuff is on their sheet. They can also split screen on their computer when they're playing, or they can have their character sheet, because I send them the URL link, which is nothing it's pretty easy. What is it? drduick.guy. I send it to them via text message. They can have their character sheet on their phone. It's just an image, so they can see what they're doing in 2 different locations. It's kind of simple. Or they can print it out, which is another thing that one of them does, because they want a piece of paper in front of them while they're playing and they don't want to have to flip 2 pages. I get it. Everybody's different. That's kind of cool, right? Once again, the fun thing about this is, since everybody sees everybody's character sheet, oh my God, we have to have holy water for this thing. So if I have holy water, and obviously they can ask around, they say, well, I think Father has it. They can actually go and look at his sheet and see the stuff he has. And obviously at the end of a session, I update their character sheets as far as gear. So, or if they increased in level, or they, I kind of, at the end of the session, let's say it's a 4-hour session, you go back up on your spells and stuff, okay? So this, once again, it's a different way of playing. It was fun. It worked for us. So that's kind of fun, right? So let's talk about what happens when you go into a module, right? So we're in Teagle Manor, right? And they're going in here, like I said, it's a merger of different ideas. And I'll explain this part up here in a second. So they go into the old temple ruins. Okay, so I password protect this to keep snooping eyes out. It's also the fact that this is, I'm not putting stuff up that these are PDFs. When you buy Frog Out Games, they give you the PDF so you can use this stuff. And let's say they go into a room and they go down into a cellar, and I show the picture of the map like this. Okay, now this is where the Huon tablet, and I got my zany little stars up. You're not gonna be able to see it very well. This is where this guy comes in. Okay, so I found out a lot of times you play Roll20, everybody's moving their character about, and it's really kind of hard to navigate. Obviously, if we're all talking and we get a stream of windows of people down the side when you're playing it, I simply ask, you know, where do you want to go? So let's say Uriah says, well, I'm going to come down the stairs. I'm just going to move over to the one side over here. I said, here or here? He says, down here. So I turn around and say, okay, if you come down here, I'll put Uriah here. Constance is going to be towards the back. Let's say Father's here. And let's say Klaus is our big guy. He's going to come and hit the front of this thing. And we start doing it this way. Now, why this is really neat is that the rooms are kind of naked and empty, and you add as you go. And then you could just simply, you get done, you just kind of erase it out. Okay, so this is sort of a fun way of doing it, and it worked really nice. And let's say if you go into a big room, this is room 11, we have a lot of things going on. You could paint an amazing scene with this. So I painted, okay, this was all crushed in with rubble here. And honestly, up here on this side, this was also boxed in with rubble up here on this side, okay? They can't get through. And we have our guys here too as well. Here's Father, here's Constance, and here's Uriah, and here's Klaus. And I didn't know it at the time, but their initials all spell out a very bad word. Therefore, you got to watch what you're doing. You know, I teach kids. I don't want that out there. So anyways, look at this. It's kind of bizarre. But Klaus decides he's going to make his move. Now, the cool thing about doing this way, all right, I find, right, is that I can write on the sides different pieces of information. Like I have a static order. I do it according to decks. It's Klaus, Constance, right? Constance, he's spelling her name wrong. And then you have Uriah. And the last one, of course, being Father McGlinchey. And I give them, I do it according to their decks. So everybody sees what's going on. His decks is 18, hers is 16, 15, and his is 11. So when we level this thing up, they always know which order they're playing. I also do 1d6 party rolls to see who goes first between the monster and the actual party play, right? So once again, when we do that, watch what happens. This is the cool part of using Zoom, okay? I'm gonna go ahead now and say, okay, we're gonna roll to see who goes first, the party or the actual monsters. I just type in 1d6 for me. I rolled a 5. Whoever rolls the highest goes. Ties go to the party. And then let's say Klaus, he's the official roller for the party. He rolls 1d6. If he doesn't beat mine, or if he gets, yeah, he rolls a 4 or less, the monster attacks first. This is kind of a fun way of doing it, because if they have 2 windows open, we play, it's very smooth. It's very nice, and it catalogs all the rolls in just one screen. Just same kind of thing as Roll20, but like I said, I'm doing something completely different. If I click back, I still have all my stuff here, right? So if I'm writing in white, it looks really nice, right? Pardon me. So this is a very, very fun way of doing things. And then let's say I turn around, you see, the cool thing is that you could have so much fun with this. And like I said, I'm not making things ahead of time. I have cut all these images ahead of time, which is super, super simple. And I'll show you how. Instead of trying to upload them all to Roll20, that takes forever. I don't like the bottlenecks. You hear noise coming this way. You don't know what it is. There's a whole bunch of, a giant pile of debris, kind of like a mountain. And let's say Klaus, he's obsessed with doing whatever he's going to do. He's going to run this way and move up. And all of a sudden, I'm going to go ahead and change Klaus's color, because now I have something on white. So I'm going to give him a color. I'm going to give him purple, whatever. So Klaus is going to come up. He's going to run to the top of the mountain. Here's his K. And he's going to see what's there. Okay. And with my type of gaming, because the sheer fact I put a lot of time into what I've done, is I can now take him to something else to show certain things off. So they might ask themselves, oh my God, so what do we see? And here it is. It's a kind of a dead giveaway, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'll click this. And if I'm quick enough with my stuff, I click this and I said, this is what you see. Oh, it's a mummy, right? So once again, I have like a image repository that I use. These are the old D&D images, which I really, really like. I also have the feed folios loaded in. And let's say, oh my God, something's coming up see over the time, and so it's all saturated. It's really kind of gross. So I mean, this is something I do. Not everybody's going to have that ability to do it. Like I said, it all depends on the tools you like to use. There's nothing. Oh my God, this thing's flying overhead. You know, the game itself it facilitates speed. I find characters get bored with Roll20. A lot of people say I don't like playing online because it seems so slow. I guess in a quarantine or a lockdown, it's the best you could do. So people are getting enough to go with it. Like I said, everyone gets a move and an action. So it's what's your move and what's your action, or do you make your action then make your move? So it depends on how you're playing it. It has a lot to do with how easy this is. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit on how to make the images, and it all depends on what kind of module you'll get or what you get online. I mean, I use Dyson logos for some of the stuff because they have beautiful stuff as far as things. I did Keep on the Borderland. Someone does a beautiful map for that. I'll cut that up and use that too as well. It's all made the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the field here, and I'm going to take you to another share so I can show you what's going to happen here. The idea, once again, is that you want, and that's the important thing, to make it simple, okay? And you could do it a million different ways, all right? For me, this is the way I like to do it. And you don't necessarily have to do this. You could use whatever you like for doing this. I personally, once again, found this to be the easiest way for doing something, especially when I'm playing. Like no one's going to work harder than the game master. That's rule number one, right? I guess, I don't know. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is essentially a PowerPoint. So this is my PowerPoint. And what I've done was, this is what the entire map looks like. I'm going to scroll down so you can see it. Whoa, right here, okay? And I cover all the rooms up with black boxes, all right? So you can see how this works, right? And there is a method to the madness, okay? So for slide number 1, I just show T1. Slide number 2, I would show 2, okay? Slide number 3, in this case, you have to go through 2 to get to 3. I can leave 2 illuminated, right? 4, you'd have to go through 2 to get to 4, leave that illuminated. 5, you'd have to leave 4. You see where I'm going with this whole thing is that the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correspond to the rooms, okay? And here's a really cool feature when you're messing with PowerPoint. As you file, save as, and I'm going to click on here, okay? I'm going to save this as a new thing, as you can see. I'm going to say a new folder, and this goes, I'm just going to say demo because we're playing this, right? And I want to call this thing JPEGs. So what happens, I'm going to go into here, demo, I'm going to save this whole thing as JPEGs, all the slides, okay? And so what happens is, and hopefully I can go in here and I can show you what this looks like, okay? That you would find this fascinating. If not, obviously you wouldn't be listening for this far into it, okay? So I'm going to go in here, and of course I got to get this thing and then switch it around that you can see it. New share, I'm going to go here, share. Okay, so now you see here, this is what I've just put together, right? What's this here? Nope, wait. Okay, monastery. What was I looking at? What was I just messing with? It's here, ground. Okay, cool. See where it says demo? If you click this thing, and obviously it saved everything in here. So it says slide 1 corresponds, and I can click through these real quick. New share, I'm gonna, photos, right? So slide 1, this thing corresponds to T1, right? You might think this is weird. Why are you doing this? This is slide 3, slide 4, slide 5. You can see it corresponds up here. So when I create a web page, I just list the numbers and hyperlink it to the actual images. Okay, so I'm going to take another look on this. This is maybe way beyond the scope of most people playing this, but if you're tech savvy and you like web pages and this is something you want to do or something you want to explore, like we're in lockdown, we're doing different things. It might be a new tool you want to learn. I learned this back in the 90s when I was playing in a band. I made my own band's web page. I got a book called Teach Yourself HTML in 24 hours, and every hour was a new concept of making tables, stuff like that. It's so simple for doing this. I know you can get WYSIWYG pages and Weebly and different things like that for learning how to make web pages. Completely up to you, okay? So if I was to look right now at what my the language on my web page. It's simply just the numbers and the images, which you see right here. So if you see this thing, it's just like, so when I go to run this thing, there's not much to this whole thing. I just have my hyperlink for my characters, hyperlink for my RollZ to show how do you do the codes. And as I click the number, it corresponds to the map inside the book. And that way I can have my book open and I'm playing and I'm just clicking, okay, you're going to room number 2. All right, so I look on the thing, okay, you're gonna go left, that's gonna be room number 2. I click number 2, the room shows up, and then boom, I'm into my tablet and I'm doing my thing. It takes a certain level of witness to use this kind of technique. I can see why people are saying, well, just use Roll20. I found Roll20, it takes forever to upload the things. That's a log jam for me. I'm not gonna use it. So yeah, that's how we're going here. So now I'm gonna get out of this thing. I'm gonna go back to my well, I guess I'll go back to my web page here. Well, not here. And like I said, this is just a different way of doing things, and everybody does it differently. And once again, I think it's fun to find new ways of playing a game. For me, this works for me. Okay, so with that, I think I'm just going to stop here. Like I said, if you've any more interest in there, you find something fascinating, I just want to put this in here. I'm actually doing my series on White Star, so that'll be the next video I'm going to put together. But I wanted to put this out here while it was still fresh. Once again, thank you for your time. I hope you have an excellent day, and wash your hands and wear a mask. All right, bye-bye.